Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and absolutely master the past simple tense. English grammar usually gives people huge headaches, but today is going to be completely different. We're not going to look at this as some confusing set of rules. Instead, think of it as a fundamental, highly logical building block of the language. It's an easy, fun, and honestly incredibly useful structure that you probably use every single day without even realizing it. By the time we wrap up, you'll have total mastery over how the whole shebang works.
I mean, you've definitely heard or used sentences exactly like this one. I played football yesterday. It sounds completely natural, right? Well, today we're going to look under the hood. We're going to break down the exact math of how a sentence like this is actually built, step by step. We'll check out the parts of speech, the specific word order, and the hidden mechanics that make this simple sentence communicate so much information in just a few words.
So, here's our roadmap for today. We'll cover what the past simple actually is, look at regular versus irregular verbs, build positive and negative structures, figure out how to ask questions, and wrap up with time expressions. Let's get right into it.
Starting off with Section 1, what is the past simple and understanding the basics?
The absolutely crucial takeaway here is that we use this tense literally like a linguistic time machine. It's specifically designed to describe events that are entirely completed and left behind us. We are definitely not talking about something that started in the past and is still happening now. Nope, the past simple requires a closed door. The action is finished, over, and done with. And honestly, looking at a few examples brilliantly illustrates the concept in action. Check these out. I played football yesterday. She visited her grandmother last week. They watched a movie last night. Every single one of these shows a subject who completed a specific task at a specific, isolated time in the past. The game is over, the visit is wrapped up, and the movie credits have rolled. The action is securely locked in the past.
Moving right along to Section 2, regular versus irregular verbs. These are the tools of the trade.
Now, here's where things get really interesting, because we have a stark contrast. Regular verbs are your absolute best friends. They follow a highly predictable rule. You just add ed to the end. Play becomes played, walk becomes walked. Super simple. But irregular verbs, they are the rule breakers. They completely change their spelling and form when they travel back in time. For instance, go shifts entirely into went, and eat transforms into ate.
Because these irregular guys refuse to follow the ed math, they do demand a little bit of memorization. See becomes saw, have changes to had, and come alters slightly to become came. Yeah, they can be a bit stubborn, but because we use them constantly in everyday conversation, they'll become second nature to you really quickly, for sure.
All right, on to Section 3, positive and negative senses. Let's start building the blocks.
If you want to build a positive statement in the past tense, just follow this recipe. Think of it like a simple math equation. Take your subject, that's the person or thing doing the action, add your past verb, whether it's regular or irregular, and then attach the object, which is the thing receiving the action. Subject plus past verb plus object. Boom!
Applying this formula is incredibly straightforward. I is our subject, visited is our regular past verb, and my aunt is the object. He is the subject, played the regular verb, football the object. And finally, we is the subject, paired with our irregular verb ate, followed by pizza. The formula just works perfectly every single time.
But wait, what happens when you want to express that something did not happen? To make a sentence negative, our formula shifts just a tiny bit. After our subject, we insert the words did not, or the much more common contraction didn't. But here is the really critical part. Because didn't is already firmly in the past tense, the main action verb that follows it has to stay in its original, unmodified base form. Notice how this plays out in each of these examples. I didn't play football. We don't say played, but just say play. The word didn't is acting like an indicator light on your dashboard, doing all the heavy lifting to show the listener that we're talking about the past. Because of that, verbs like play, go, and watch revert entirely to their standard present tense form. So the absolutely crucial point to remember here, and I really want to emphasize this because it is one of the most common mistakes out there, is that after didn't, you must always use the base verb. It is totally correct to say didn't go. It is fundamentally incorrect to say didn't went. You never double up on the past tense. The didn't already does the job for you.
Okay, Section 4, asking past simple questions, the inquiry.
Our blueprint for questions requires just a little bit of rearrangement. To ask a yes or no question in the past simple, we bring the helper word did all the way to the absolute front of the sentence. Then we follow it with the subject, and once again, because did is already in the past tense, we use the base unmodified form of our action verb. Let's look at how this builds. By simply popping did at the start of the sentence, we effortlessly transform statements into inquiries about finished actions. Did you play yesterday? Did she visit her friend? Notice that it's visit, not visited. Did they eat lunch? Again, we use eat, not ate, because the did right up front is already doing the job of telling us we're in the past.
And honestly, when someone asks you one of these did questions, you don't have to parrot the entire sentence back to them. You can respond quickly, naturally, and politely using these highly efficient short answers. If the answer is affirmative, you just say, yes, I did. If the action didn't happen, you use the negative structure we learned earlier, no, I didn't. It's clean, it's concise, and it's perfectly grammatical.
Finally, Section 5, Time Expressions and Practice. Let's set the context.
So this brilliantly illustrates how we actually set the scene. While the past simple tells us an action is finished, time expressions tell us exactly when the door closed. We use specific markers like yesterday, 2 days ago, last week, last month, or even a specific year like in 2024 to firmly plant our finished actions into distinct points in history. These words are the perfect companions to your past tense verbs. Just by adding a time expression, like last summer, at the end of our structural formula, you provide the listener with perfect, vivid context. I mean, the sentence, "We traveled to Alexandria," is grammatically correct on its own, but tacking on last summer paints a complete picture of exactly when that finished action occurred. It literally elevates your communication from just basic to super precise.
Okay, let's lock in everything we've covered today. Test yourself really quickly with these 3 mixed concepts. Think about the verb forms. We have I went to school yesterday using an irregular verb and a time expression. Then, she watched TV last night, showcasing a regular verb with the ed ending. And they ate pizza yesterday, another irregular verb perfectly matched with a time marker.
Now that you deeply understand the mechanics, the regular and irregular verbs, the positive and negative formulas, and the context markers, I'll leave you with this final question from our source material to answer in your head using the past simple. Did you do your homework yesterday? Think about it. Without the past simple, we literally wouldn't have history, nostalgia, or even good gossip. Mastering this one tense unlocks the entirety of human experience that came before this exact second. So what story